Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Jennifer with one N says, is that legal? Says, I had to write in to shout out Bianca Brady.
Hell yeah.
I asked my husband for Keith and the Girl VIP membership, and Sherry's Berries, of course, for Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
I'm so excited to hear Keith's drunk show, but first, I had to dive into the recap show, and I am so happy I did. One episode of last week on Keith and the Girl and Bianca's questions to Keith and Chemda cleared up information I didn't even know I needed. After just one episode, I am hooked. The Keith and the Girl recap is a national treasure. How sweet is that?
Yeah, and Bianca does a really good job, too.
Some big shows to go over when Bianca's with us, right? Episodes 3070 to 3074. These are real numbers, by the way.
Why
Can
do
you
we
imagine?
keep making episodes?
I don't know. I'm looking at the shows that we did.
You know what? I was talking to Andrea before the show about how, like, some people, when they meet us after they listen to us for a long time, it's like they trust us right away. And it's very interesting to meet a stranger and just go into spaces that normally wouldn't be safe, like by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, well, I guess they do know us because, you know, we're saying everything on the show. And for me to hold on to 3,000 episodes of what did I just say is not going to work out.
I didn't talk to my parents 3,000 times. I know that.
Yeah, not even 3,000 hours. I didn't talk to them 3,000 times.
Right.
So, yeah, you guys know us.
The shows I'm looking at, we have The Wet Spot.
I'm so nervous about Bianca talking to me about the wet spot.
Well, Xerxes will be joining us live on the show with Bianca, so we'll get to the bottom of everything. Of course, during that week, we had the episode Not Your Father's Sexual Position. My girlfriend Kyle was on, and we read the dad emails. You know all about that. Oh Bother with Jessica Watkins and why rape victims take time to say the crime. And I don't know why this is news to people. Why do rape victims wait weeks, months, years after a statute of limitations to complain about being a victim? Less serious than that, I had a roommate, two roommates. They got drunk. The one attacked the other to the point that the police had to come in. It was very egregious where my friend said, you know what, I think I might press charges. I don't know what I'm going to do. Then a form pamphlet came in the mail from the New York City Police Department that said, so you're a victim. Here's what to do now. And my friend went, I'm not a victim. Case closed.
Wow. Oh, so it wasn't even the pamphlet?
It was the pamphlet that upset him. He's like, I'm a victim now? No, I'm not a victim. Forget the whole thing.
Oh, I see. I thought I was like, oh my God, that's a weird way to deal with crime. I thought they sent him a thing to fill out on how to get whoever was beating him in jail or whatever.
Well, yeah, it's to do the next step, or, how do you deal with what just happened? Victim. And he's like,
wow, so the word victim just threw him off.
Yeah.
Even though he's like, in order to report it, you have to say I've been a victim of a crime.
You're the victim or the person who committed the crime.
Right.
And, of course, Shula G with Shuli Agar will cover. We talked about the Howard Stern show. We talked about he had a lot of ideas to one-up the dad emails. That's very exciting. They include urine and sex play. All right, so check it out. It's very fun. It's the 6th Keith and the Girl show of the week. Last week on Keith and the Girl.
And thank you guys for everyone who's a VIP member. You are sincerely helping this show continue. It's so great that you guys have our premium membership. If you don't, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. Thanks, guys.
Last week we talked about Avengers Endgame success, the number 2 highest making movie money of all time. Do those words make sense?
Yes.
All right. Well, it only made more money, believe it or not. It is in the number 2 slot, Avengers Endgame, at $2.5 billion.
I don't know. When you say words like that, I'm like, I think we're done with money.
Right. At almost $2.8 billion is Avatar, but that's Avatar of all time. Endgame is only on the 3rd weekend now. So obviously it's gonna pan out.
And what's funny is as people hear these numbers, it's not like, oh, they've made enough money. It's like, oh, I better go see that.
Right.
It's like how the lotto, when it reaches $500 million, more people buy it.
Yeah. No, I've seen movies that I only saw because they were a success and
That's
I knew
funny.
better. So James Cameron, of course, directed Avatar, also directed the number 3 movie of all time, Titanic.
It's so funny. Are we still giving him credit for this?
Those were big movies. Number
Okay.
1 and number 3 now.
You think it's how much of it do you think is the direction?
How do you mean?
Doesn't it have to be the story and everybody? Why do directors get more credit than the writers?
Well, I don't think they should. That's true.
It's weird, right?
The writer should get much more credit.
The writer had to come up with so much of it. The director has to film it out of order, but they have someone next to them going, "No, we already did that scene."
So Jim Cameron wrote, put out a picture of the A for Avengers symbol coming out of the water like an iceberg, knocking over the Titanic to show he's a good sport. Now, I don't know when it's cool to have a little joke on a national tragedy like this.
Wait a minute. That's like putting the Avenger sign like through the Twin Towers to show that movie's better.
Right.
You know, there were 9/11 movies if you want to depict that.
To Kevin and everybody at Marvel, an iceberg sank the real Titanic. It took the Avengers to sink my Titanic. So he's almost saying his movie was a bigger thing than the actual Titanic. He's saying, an iceberg killed the Titanic. It took Avengers to knock down my Titanic.
You ever think Hollywood is another planet?
Yes. Everyone here at Lightstorm Entertainment salutes your amazing achievement. You've shown that the movie industry is not only alive and well, it's bigger than ever.
What? Are we thanking him for his quote?
I saw a lot of people on social media going, "Oh, Jim Cameron, what a class act." What was he going to do? Fuck you?
This is classy?
But what else is he going to say?
You know what else is classy nowadays? Twerking. So we're good.
Right. Well, it took 22 movies to get to this point. I just did one.
Oh,
Titanic.
sorry. I missed your point about people drowning.
In April of 2018, James Cameron said, "I'm hoping we'll start getting Avengers fatigue here pretty soon. Not that I don't love the movies. It's just, come on, guys. There are other stories to tell besides hypergonadal males, I guess like gonadal males without families doing death-defying things for 2 hours and wrecking cities in the process. It's like, oi."
He's joking, right?
No, he's being serious. He's saying when are these stupid superhero movies going to end? But now,
what's he saying? When is our imagination going to be done?
Yeah, he's saying there's other stories to tell.
Then you tell them.
As if we don't have multiplexes.
Then don't worry about it.
But
then it sounds like you have a lot of movies to make.
Wait, he made Terminator, Aliens, Alita Battle Angel. I mean, I guess his has the
so
women.
Prolific.
Well, he probably has the women, I guess. Is that what he's saying? I don't want to see these guys.
When you say that's what he's saying, do you believe he's saying anything?
No, he's just jealous.
It's just nonsense.
That was him preemptively hoping that his records weren't broken.
He should seriously just take out his dick and go, "Come on, let's just measure." Like whose dick is better? What is this weird thing?
Well, he's a class act, and he's
sorry.
recognizing what's happening. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out.
Is this what he means? Tell a new story?
Yeah, these are the new stories to tell. I could see Iron Man again.
Oh, good. I've been waiting for a Sonic movie.
Well, people are upset because they think the Sonic character in the trailer looks creepy.
Pardon?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, were we so curious about what Sonic is up to that we needed to make a movie about it?
Still spinning. It's a live action one. Of course, Sonic is CGI. They couldn't get a live action Hedgehog. But everybody else is live action. Jim Carrey's in it. James Marsden, if you recognize that name. It'll be released in November, and the director has said, "You know what? The message is loud and clear. You hate my fucking hedgehog. You aren't happy with the design, and you want changes, so it's going to happen."
What's that?
People are upset the way Sonic the Hedgehog looks in the trailers
Oh, okay.
of this most likely finished movie, but they're going to go back and fix the hedgehog so he's not so unnerving looking. Apparently, he has what looks like human dentures, and it's making people cry.
Did you see the picture?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I played the game. You're a spinning ball. I guess if you make it stand up, it's going to look goofy. Sonic didn't talk too much in Sega.
I do love that, we Twitter and Facebook about a lot of things that are on our mind and social political things, but Sonic gets changed.
Well, I am saving my money for the Tetris movie. That should be exciting.
I want the Pac-Man movie.
Well, I'm sure there was. Had to wake up.
Oh, sorry.
Now, there's so many movies now. It's just understood. You get high and then you go.
Yeah, what's this Pokemon movie?
It's Detective Pokemon. It's the number 2 movie right under Avengers. He's a detective.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
This is how we should start every show. Here's movies, Hendo.
Wait, what?
Number 1, Avengers. Okay? Superheroes flying around. Okay, number 2, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. At $58 million in America alone.
Wait, is everybody celibate now? What's happening? You
So-
guys running out of things to do?
That of course is live action except for the Pikachu because those aren't real.
I honestly thought Jerome was the last person to give a shit about Pikachu, but apparently he's the norm.
$58 million.
Some people can't eat. I stepped over a homeless person today
To get to the movie.
to get to the Pikachu.
He goes, Pika Pika.
Well, with dialogue like that.
You heard that mushrooms are legal in Denver? Or
Well,
at least
all these Pikachu movies.
you excited? This is what happens. This is what happens.
No.
There's a Sonic. Yeah, you make drugs legal. What do you think's going to happen? Less Sonic Hedgehog movies or more? Probably more. You going to have Casablanca or you're going to have Pika Pika? What do you think you're going to get if you're allowed to have mushrooms on the streets? You're going to get Pika Pika. You know that.
What's the third biggest movie?
Third biggest movie is Human Shit, the Pooh movie. It's a talking poo. Live action, but the poo is CGI.
Oh, come on.
Number 3 is The Hustle.
What's that?
That's where you have an attractive woman, so
Oh,
she
right.
knows how to rob people, and a fat woman, so she doesn't know how to rob people. But they're going to work together and both learn to be decent. Where did their old selves go when they were decent?
This is great. What's the fourth movie?
The 4th movie is The Intruder.
Okay.
That
Did he intrude on someone's heart?
That is they say it's an African-American movie, so if you're black, you should be supporting it. However, the main character is Dennis Quaid, white.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, everybody else is black. And that's what matters. But the draw is actually white. The only person you heard of is white. But it's black cinema.
What else? What's the next?
And this guy says, yeah, you can rent my house if you want. And the black couple says, great, it's a beautiful house.
Okay.
But then he's like, actually, I'm a creep, and I'm going to break into my own house and hurt you. What I liked about it is that it was an hour, 20 minutes, but it's getting horrible reviews because those movies under an hour and a half are always horrible. So I love when they're short, but I've never seen a good short movie in my life.
When you have to review it by how long it is? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's not looking good. And number 5 is Long Shot, where you
Okay.
have the beautiful woman and the fat man, and somehow they're going to find things in common. One's president, and one probably invented weed.
Is the woman too good for him, but just in time, he's too good for her at the end?
Way too good for him.
But there's like a montage where he gets good enough, right?
Well, he's going to,
He changes clothes one time in the movie at the end.
he irons a shirt,
Oh, shit.
and she goes, you know what, I'm a little too high strung. And then they make babies.
Right. I love that they blame her. You know what? I do go to work on time every single day.
Right.
I think I need to loosen up.
I'm Secretary of State. You're a pothead.
I sure don't know how to laugh.
I can learn a lot.
Is there one more? Please, one more.
No,
Please.
that's all 5. That's why when the Oscars come out, there's only 5 movies, it seems, right? That's why. These are your 5 movies of 2019.
You go to the movies.
I'm naming these movies, and you can't believe I support them.
Where are you going? Which one are you going to?
This year I went to Avengers Endgame. So Denver voters narrowly approved Initiative 301 that decriminalized psychedelic mushrooms. So which is always a funny word to me. Is it legal or not legal? Well, it's not legal. You can't have it, but if you have it, it's okay. I think the fucking law's high.
You can't have it, but if you have it, it's okay.
Right. We don't mind if you have it, but please don't. Okay, you did.
Where'd you get it from? Because that's illegal.
You can't buy it, but we don't mind if you do. And you can't sell it, but okay, you sold it. And you certainly can't have it, but if you did those things, then someone has it, I guess. You're free to go. Thank you. Just eating a salad, officer. Just get out of here. For years, I've been walking around eating regular mushrooms in front of cops. That way they give up on magic mushrooms.
Oh, so what do you think of this?
Yeah. Well, these are the okay ones, right?
God, I'm going to pee my pants.
Weed, mushrooms, I suppose acid. You know, coke, it's a little too much. Heroin, a little too much.
What reviews?
Yeah, a little too much.
Well,
I'd say that to Congress. Heroin, a little too much. We all agree.
it sounds like mushrooms everyone's okay on. Well, I don't want to say everyone's okay on, but it sounds like it has enough medicinal value.
No, I need more people to learn that being nice is the answer. You know? They do their mushrooms and they go, learn to be kind to people. I'm like, all right, good. More people can learn that, I guess. They don't learn to be mean to people.
I don't
Right?
know,
Do they do
yeah.
mushrooms and go, I need to be more an asshole?
No, what's weird is even so on mushrooms, I have heard of people having a bad trip, even people who are used to it or are okay with drugs and stuff like that. And the people who have bad trips on mushrooms seem to still want to do it again because they know it was like the one-time thing. There's so much positive response from mushrooms that I'm like, yeah, of course, make it legal.
Yeah, I don't care.
Also, what are you doing? Imagine like
I don't have kids. Who
you're
cares?
arresting Mike Kaplan.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're arresting Zach Sherwin. What? Yes, now we feel safe. Think of like the Shane Mosses of the world who are doing.
You know what, though? Now that I think about it, those are good examples. Do I need more puns in my life?
Well, you don't need them in jail.
I don't know. If the choice is more wordplay or...
They're still gonna do it. They're probably gonna put out more in jail because they have more time.
Yeah, but then they do it in jail, you know? I don't care.
They're coming out.
What are they doing in Saudi Arabia? It doesn't bother me here. You know what I mean? Denver police are still learning what it means when something's decriminalized, so that should be fun for the next couple of weeks while they figure it out. Yeah, I'd wait a little bit before I started eating them on the corner. We're working closely with the city attorney's office to get an interpretation of what the fuck. Once we receive that feedback, we'll use that information to determine what training our Denver officers need moving forward.
Wait, now you're working on training?
Well, this vote came in fast.
That's actually really great.
The office...
Wait, I also want to know what it means for people who are in jail for it.
you can't go in the past.
No, you can't.
Supporters expect fewer mushroom users, blah, 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 blah. All right.
So you always talked about if it's available, then more kids will do it, more people will do it.
Yeah, more kids will do it, more people will do it.
Are you nervous about people doing mushrooms?
No, again, they're not my kids. Who cares?
But it's your world.
No, I don't mind. Then they're high, and you can move them out of your way fast. You know, there's people in Times Square always bumping into you. They're not on mushrooms. You know, when you're on mushrooms, like you can easily knock people over. You're just like move. You know, they're like the wind. They think they're the wind. You push them, they go with it. You can like push them, and they'll keep walking for like half a block before they go, "Wow, I think somebody pushed me. I'm so high." Yeah, I love it. Sure. Between 2016 and 2018, the Denver Police Department arrested 158 people for psilocybin, or 0.02% of Denver's population. So they're saying a lot of people aren't doing it anyway. In comparison, let's see, mid-level narcotics team confiscated 2.16 pounds of psilocybin. Psilocybin. This is a goofy name. If you can pronounce it, you're free. 2.16 pounds of the stuff in the first 3 months in 2019. By comparison, they confiscated 453 pounds of marijuana, 23 pounds of THC, 57 pounds of meth.
Why are they
at the
doing
same
that?
time.
Why are they doing THC shit? It's legal. This is Denver, right? The first place to recreationally legalize, right?
Well, they're saying between 2016 and 2018. So when they did confiscate, they confiscated such little amounts of mushrooms. But then again, what do? You see these,
Yeah, mushrooms you don't have
in a big
lot
city,
of.
you see mushrooms. You probably got it at the farmer's market.
Yeah, like I won't have an ounce of mushrooms. I'll have an ounce of weed, though.
Right.
You know.
Were you excited? Did you have a party over this news?
I had an internal party. It's not like I'm doing mushrooms every other day. I've done it once. It's just, to take off the fear and the stigma of something else, I think. And everyone's been following Denver, which is good. And their economy and their, all is coming out positive out of Denver. So I think decriminalize all drugs. Because fuck you, you're feeding us the drugs that you think, shouldn't be decriminalized. You're feeding us the stuff that, we're getting really jacked up on, stuff that leads to actual heroin. You're leading us to illegal activities when we're just nice people. This makes no sense. So yeah, all the drugs. Stop it.
Oof. All the drugs.
All the drugs. Yes, all the drugs. I don't know what anyone on acid is doing in jail. I don't understand it.
But
you're feeding the kids high-level drugs that you're perfectly fine with.
Adderall for children. Why not heroin? Hypocrites out there.
Adderall feels like Molly. I've done Molly. I've done Adderall.
There you go. All right. What did you do for Mother's Day?
I cried that I don't have a mother. No, I didn't. I forgot it was Mother's Day.
It's so funny when you have kids, especially when they're, under 18, under 16. It's like, Mom, I want to take you to the movies. Okay. So take us to the movies, Mom. That's what I want to do. I want to take you.
Actually, we used to try to take my mother out for Mother's Day. And she's like, I just want my kids around. Just come over. I will make better food than what you have outside. Outside food is no good. Then we'd come over. Now all of a sudden we're watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. It's the same fucking night every day.
Right.
She doesn't complain about her life, but she doesn't seem happy. And it's like, now you're doing the dishes, but she won't let us do it because we can't do it as well as her. Right. So we're just annoying her everywhere.
No, of course I mailed Sherry's berries already. And then today I text my mom. She says, she's going to church at noon. So at 12:30, I call my mom. Oops, got the answering machine. Happy Mother's Day. It was that easy.
We used to call together. I would schedule with my brothers because otherwise it's individually like, how are you? What's going on? But I will be texting my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law, and both my brother's wives because I think they're great mothers.
All right, there you go. Kyle got a 3-in-1 card from her 3 kids.
Motherfuckers.
Right? She's like, I birthed you separately.
I buy the macaroni, use it on 3 cards.
I think I get 3 separate cards.
What, it took all 3 of you to go, I love you this much?
She asked her daughter the other day, she said, I didn't see you buying anything lately for Mother's Day.
Oh, I love Kyle. She's so ballsy.
And so the daughter says, I'm making you something. And you could see the lies in the eyes.
Ew.
And so I said, Kyle, say today, I can't wait to get this thing you made.
Yes.
I'm so excited. So we'll see what happens. But when you're a kid, if you're a kid, listen up. When you're a kid, buy your mom something nice from whatever money you got from her because it's her money. And then whenever you need money for something you want, pizza, Pikachu, she'll give you more. Because you seem generous. It's a trick to give all your money away.
So weird life lesson from their stepfather.
It's pretty obvious. I didn't even have to go to college for that. You give all your mom's money away, you get more mom's money for yourself. Some kind of savings that's going on. And then the cards are never specific. These cards people give their moms, the kid was like, I love you, thanks for everything, sorry for everything, you're the best. Be specific. Right? I can't believe I drew penises all over the school chalkboards. It's like, you remember. Thank you. Thank you, Mom, for actively not murdering me. I appreciate it.
Denver, give your mom mushrooms. Figure out some new shit in your lives.
I'm reading about an English town, and I hear about these towns every so often. When they have potholes that the government isn't fixing, people draw dicks in chalk or paint around the pothole, and finally the government fixes the pothole.
The government's a little bitch. That's what it takes.
It's an English town I'm reading specifically, Middlesbrough. One or more residents painted penises.
It's not highbrow.
One or more residents painted penises around every one of the potholes, shaming political leaders into making sure the job was done. The potholes were unfilled for a year. All of a sudden, they're fixed within days.
Wait, but this is in England?
This happens to be in England, yeah.
What kind of dicks are they drawing? Circumcised or uncircumcised?
Nobody makes them uncircumcised
No?
when you're drawing dicks. You got to get in and out. You know, you draw the line for the head and you're done. Whatever you see, you see. You know? Everybody knows that, kinda.
Just a stick and two balls?
Ball, and then, you know, if you got the time, you draw the slit. Maybe that's what all those swastikas are you see nowadays. Maybe it's not hate crimes. They just want people to paint the library.
It's the new wash me.
Maybe.
Well, you know what's funny is after it rains, there's a dick next to the pothole, and it looks like it's coming into the pothole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see.
R. Kelly's in trouble for failing to respond to a lawsuit filed by one of his alleged victims. This woman is saying that Kelly had sex with her when she was 16 in 1998, but Kelly didn't respond.
He ghosted her?
He ghosted the court, and the court's saying, well, you're in big trouble now. And Kelly's attorneys are saying, oh, the singer never responded because he's illiterate. He couldn't read the documents when served.
I love that.
Well, what could it be? It's Chicago Municipal Court. Do you go, could be good news, could be bad news. I'll never know.
No, he can't even read that.
But he doesn't know what.
Yeah. No, but he can't read, so he definitely doesn't have someone going through his mail.
Right.
Yeah. No, he definitely, as a rich artist, hasn't set up for him to figure out how to get mail read to him. We have things called audiobooks and Audible and all this shit, but your mail can't be read.
You know the envelope says Chicago on it. You know what Chicago is.
Does he?
You know what the lady...
Maybe there was no, like, don't pee here signs wherever he was peeing, and he couldn't read that.
There's a lady with a blindfold on the envelope. You're in trouble. Ooh, another sex envelope. No. That's Lady Justice.
Does that lawyer keep his bar? What is it called? Does that lawyer get disbarred?
Does R. Kelly say, I can't read? And the lawyer's like, yeah, you sure you want to? I mean,
right. Like lawyer, whatever, confidential.
I mean, for $10,000, I'll do it.
Right.
You know?
But you have to go out and say he can't read.
Do you say it matter of factly, or do you kind of like wink at the judge like, we're going to go with he can't read? That's what he says.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
He doesn't mind swearing on the Bible either.
You know Rick Schroder from Silver Spoons?
Yeah.
NYPD Blue. He was jailed on suspicion of felony domestic violence, his second arrest in a month. 12:43 a.m., domestic dispute in L.A. He's 49. Both times it was the same female adult victim, unidentified, but it was the same one twice. The deputies identified evidence of a physical altercation. They took Schroder into custody. The former child actor was held on $50,000 bail. Well, he was a millionaire, right? As a kid.
Yeah, he had a silver spoon.
Yeah, he had that train that went around the house.
Oh, I loved it.
Well, he's in some trouble.
He must be so mad. 49 years old.
Right.
You had a good child career, which actually works against you, right? But you went through that, and then he was in, what's that?
NYPD Blue.
NYPD Blue, a huge comeback. I remember when he first came on the scene there, and I didn't even watch the show. I was like, oh my God, the hot guy from my childhood, and he made it in really well. You have to imagine he's making decent amount of money. He's got a decent amount of fame and notoriety and happiness. You're so angry you're still beating women.
Yeah.
You haven't dealt with anything.
Well,
what would it take?
To be that angry?
No, to stop being that angry.
To stop being that angry? A Silver Spoons movie. There's a Pika Pika movie. There's a Fat Lady and Pretty Lady Rob People movie. And he's like, where's the Silver Spoons movie?
Where am I?
There's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I don't know. You start punching people, I suppose. And here's a fun little news story. Wealthy people are more prone than others to exaggerate their abilities. while actually having no idea what they're talking about. The Program for International Student Assessment asked people in 9 countries, so not just America, 9 countries, how much they knew about certain math topics, including a few made-up ones, such as declarative fractions, to see how much they'd claim to know. Respondents from the wealthiest households showed a greater proclivity toward overstatement.
Wow. And we give people that credit. The first time you, when you really feel like an adult as an adult, it's not because anything changed. You're a child, but you have more responsibility. That's what adulthood is like. Spoiler alert, that's the end. But when you really feel like you're an adult is when you go, oh, you're not important. Nothing's important. Everything that you say is coming out of the same kind of nervousness that I'm going through. You're not shit.
We could all learn from this, I think. I know. I remember, I tried to get a job in some office building as a manager, and they're like, how many people did you oversee? And I'm like, about 30. And they're like, what? I'm like, 40? No, idiot. You're going the wrong way. I'm like, all right, I'll leave. And then the next place, I'm like, 5. You're hired. All right.
That's true. Actually, when I was pursuing singing, you would look in the back of the Village Voice or a Backstage magazine, Backstage newspaper, and it's once a week you get all these listings of every audition. And I'd be like, oh, that's probably, I just started auditioning. That's probably too much. Or I don't even think I want that job, whatever. I went out for every audition that I was, the right age for, because that was very specific, or the right ethnicity, if they showed an ethnicity. I just went. And it's even if I didn't want the job or they didn't want me, I was practicing auditioning.
Right.
Yeah, you just go do the shit. It doesn't matter. I ended up getting a tour.
See?
Yeah.
That easy.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Yes.
Don't wait until you're qualified. No one's qualified.
No, I wanted to get a job as a parking attendant. They said, what's your qualification? I said, I'm a car. Just who cares? It's that easy. Anyway, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. Make sure you listen to Biancas Show. It's the wrap-up show of the whole week. Little behind the scenes. Bonus, how you doing? You were right when you were saying the other day, Hemda. Bianca has this cadence to her voice.
It's weird.
I certainly thought I was saying everything on the main Keith and the Girl show, but hold on. Here's another thought I have.
Yeah, and it's not like she's grilling you or anything.
Right.
She's so sweet about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, I thought maybe you would have another thought about this. It's like, no, I did. Wait, I did. I had 5 more thoughts and 3 more jokes about it.
Oh, she's great, but there's nothing about her to trust.